Hey guys! Today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I normally post. It's gonna be about my Disney female vocalist audition for the Disney Cruise Line and my experience. So if you want to hear how it went, stay tuned. I heard about this audition like about a month ago on the Disney Auditions website, so I decided that I was going to give it a shot, and whatever happens, happens. Regardless, it would be a good experience. I took the 10:11 train to get to the city. I got there at around 11:30, and I got into Pearl Studios at 11:45. Sign-in time was at 1, so I was 2 hours early, but I figured better be early and wait than to be one of the last people seen. They began sign-in a little bit before 1 o'clock, and then they closed sign-in close to 2 o'clock. So not even at 2, they weren't seeing any more people. I was the 9th person to go in an audition. It was very, very quick. Very, very quick process. The monitor was super nice. He was a former Disney Cruise Line employee. He told us, you know, everything we needed to know. Make sure to smile a lot, which I did. Oh, believe me, I did. And have a song, 16 bars of a song that best represents you as a performer and as a person. I knew that everybody was going to be going in there singing Disney songs, and I was like, I'm not going to be that person. I also had another option, which was a Disney song, in case they wanted to hear me sing again, which they didn't, but let me get there. So at around 2 o'clock, I've been sitting there, you know, waiting for about 2.5 hours, which wasn't that bad. It went a lot quicker. You know, I was looking at, you know, all the other girls, and they all seemed to have the same body type as me, if not a little bit skinnier. There were more than a few girls there who looked like they were in shape, but more than that were the girls that have my type of body type. I like to say I'm like an average build, if that makes sense. I used to be really, really, really skinny, but I was put on a lot of medication that made me gain a lot of weight, and I knew that that was going to be against me, because I know in Disney that they want to have, you know, skinny girls in shape, and I knew that I was not that. So I kind of went in there for the experience, and I wanted to see what it was like to audition for Disney, and everything was super, super nice. Everything was really well coordinated, and they wanted to move people in really, really quickly. So anyway, back to the audition. They lined us up in groups of 10 and made sure that we were all here to line up. And so we went down the little hallway with our little binders. There were a lot of girls there with these big clunky binders, and I had like a small binder with a few of my best vocal songs in there, and I was like, why are these girls bringing so many songs? Anyway, they lined us up, and I think the first girl was the only one that came out with a little slip of paper. She had auditioned before. I remember her talking about it. Actually, most of the girls there had auditioned before, and me and a few of the other girls there, very few, there was about 40 to 50 people there, maybe 60, I don't know, it seemed like 40 to 50, who hadn't auditioned before. Very few, me being one of them. So I was like, well, that's odd. All the girls went. I was the 9th person, so I heard all the girls. Most of them, if not all of them, I don't really remember, were very talented, but only the first girl came out with a slip of paper. And this girl seemed like she had done this 1,000,005 times, and she was walking in and out of the holding room, and I was like, where are they going? was like, where? I wish I had explored a little bit more, but I was so set on just focusing on my audition that I just didn't want to, you know, I don't know. It was odd. Anyway, but she was the only one that came out with a slip. I knew I was dressed right. I had on a romper and flats, and a lot of girls had on like these short dresses and high stiletto heels, and I was like, really? It's Disney. I was like, it was weird. But I don't know how anyone else did because I was in that first 10. So I kind of wish I had gotten there a little bit later, because maybe then I would have, you know, heard about all the other girls and everything, because no one else in my group were given that little slip of paper with the callback times on it. And I had no idea that was even what it was. They weren't very specific about how callbacks were working, and that kind of bothered me a little bit. I was like, okay, so you're telling us that callbacks are this day, and that day, but you're not telling us how you're giving out callbacks. All I knew was that if they wanted us to stay for the dance call, they would ask us to stay. And I was like, okay, great. So I go in there, and I say hello to the casting director. She was so sweet, such a sweet lady. And I put my music down in front of the pianist, and I told him the song I was singing, and I flipped to the part where I wanted to start, and he was very confused, and I wasn't sure why. I told him I wanted to do the pickup to the measure that I was starting to sing at, and he looked at it, and he was like, okay, and I was like, and then I want to end at the very end of the song. And so I pointed at the wrong spot at first, and I felt so bad because I was just losing it at that point. And I think that might have been something to do with it. No, I know I was sure, but I was like, I even marked where I wanted to end too. So that's why I was like, what the heck is going on? And so I flipped to the next page, and I was like, here's where I am. I apologize for that. And he said, no, it's not a big deal. I asked him to please give me a starting note if he didn't mind. From the pickup, and I said, no, from when the singing starts. He's like, oh, cause the pickup isn't your starting note. And I was like, right. Which, I don't know, it was very, very odd. He seemed like a really nice guy, but I wasn't sure why I felt like why he was so confused. I don't know if anybody has any helpful hints on how I could have made my starting point more clear. Please let me know, because I thought I was very clear that I wanted to start at that I wanted the starting note of the singing. Maybe that was my fault. Actually, it probably was most definitely my fault, but that was very quickly fixed. And the lady was even kind of laughing, and I was like, okay, as long as she's like not thinking that I don't know what I'm doing, that's good, because I did know what I was doing. I was more confused by what he was saying. I would like from the pickup to, you know, the measure I'm singing at, and I would like the starting note. But he was pointing at the note that was the note before I started saying, and I was like, that's not my starting note. I mean, I didn't say it like that. So I kind of laughed, and he laughed, and then I went up to sing, and he gave me the starting note, and I was like, okay. And so I sang. What did I sing? I sang Someday from The Wedding Singer, the very last chorus, with the key change and everything. It went very well, way better than I ever could have dreamed it could have gone. She was so into it. She was smiling and nodding, and at the end of when I sang, she even said, wow. And I was like, oh my god, this is a good thing. This is a good sign. She really, really liked it. I mean, I was trying to be really expressive and smiley, and I felt so good after I sang. I've never felt so good at an audition vocally before. All she said after the wow was thank you and have a wonderful afternoon. And I was like, okay, thank you. I said, thank you very much. And I took my music, I thanked the pianist, and I left. And I was so confused. And I knew that was because I wasn't asked to stay for the dance call, that I was like, okay, so I guess I can go home now. I even asked one of the girls, I was like, so with callbacks, does anybody know how that's working? And they're like, well, if they wanted you to stay, they would have told you. And I was like, yeah. And they said maybe they'll email us. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So it felt so fast. And I was like, I feel like I just got here. I mean, I've been sitting around for 2.5 hours, but I was one of the first people seen, and now I'm already done. And it's like only an hour after the audition started. And I was like, okay. So I took the train back home, and I started looking up things of like, how do we know if we got a callback or not? And I even posted on this audition update website where a lot of people would post like about their auditions and stuff, and like about callback info, and I asked the form about it, and somebody replied that the little slips of paper had the callback time on it, which is how I found out that that was basically a callback. And those were the people that were asked to stay to dance. And after the dance call, they all made appointments for the dates when they were doing callbacks. And I was like, oh, okay. That was that. And I guess I didn't get a callback, which I'm totally okay with. I totally killed the audition. Obviously, there was something about me that she didn't, Personally, I think it was because it was my first time. I would suggest to, especially with the music aspect, I guess I wasn't clear enough. So try to be as clear as possible with where you want to start and where you want to end, even though I had everything marked and I felt that I was good in that aspect. In the heat of the moment, I was a bit frazzled, and I confused him, obviously. So try to be more clear regarding the music, even though I thought I was. But either way, I confused him. Didn't mean to confuse him, which in turn confused me. So, but this is not the last time I will be auditioning for the Disney Cruise Line. Absolutely not. The woman obviously thought that I had the talent, which was why I was very, very confused about, everything. She seemed to really, really, really like what I was doing, and that gave me a lot of confidence. So in turn, it was a bit confusing. And I mean, obviously you can never get into the casting director's heads and what they're looking for and what they want to see. I felt like I was giving them everything that they would want to see, and maybe I did, I don't know. But I do personally think it was because of my weight, because I still felt that I was one of the heavier girls, and I'm not heavy. You gotta do, what you can at the present. And the best that I could do was show them what I got, which I did, and she seemed really, really impressed. More so than I ever thought, anyone would show. But she was very, 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 very pleased with my performance from what I saw, from what I understood from her facial expressions, from the smiling and the nodding and the wow at the end of my singing. So, I mean, the wow itself, having her react like that was so incredible to me that I honestly didn't even care that she didn't want to see me dance. I honestly didn't even care she didn't ask me to sing another song. Not that I really wanted her to ask me to sing another song, because the reason I chose that song in particular was because I knew it showcased all of my abilities and what I could do. I was really, really thankful for that. But it is what it is. And apparently I was not chosen. She did not want to see me dance, and she didn't want me to come back, which is okay. it's totally fine because it's not the last time I'm auditioning there, and hopefully I'll be in better shape. I'm already trying to lose weight anyway. Like even before I went to that audition, I was trying to lose weight, trying to eat better. And before that audition, I lost 8 pounds, which was awesome. So cool. But yeah, I would suggest just being yourself. I mean, I was. I looked up the videos, I watched everything, but I noticed that there weren't a lot of videos going around YouTube that explained the vocal auditions for the Disney Cruise Line. I had heard that most of the time they will not give you a callback the first time. Monitor himself said that people who audition like 3 to 10 times will come back and audition repeatedly and repeatedly, and the casting director remembers them and are like, wow, yeah, I remember you were really good, or all that. Those people are the ones that end up getting cast, not the first timers. So I kind of understood why I and a few other people, very few other people, were the only ones that had never auditioned for the cruise line. They want to be seen, and they hear that people who audition more and more for the Disney cruise have a better chance of getting cast. So that is the mindset I'm going to go with. I loved the experience. I had so much fun. So I honestly have no problem going back and doing it again. Honestly, I could go back today. If I had a callback, I would be going back today, but I'm not getting petty, I'm just making a joke. But it was a lot of fun. I hope to do it again. I'm definitely gonna do it again. For now, it's time to find another thing. But I'm coming back for you, Disney. I'm not giving up so easily. I guess that's basically it. I don't think I'm forgetting any important details. People who have auditioned for Disney before in the past, or people who have been on the cruise ship and have pointers of how I could do better in my next audition, please let me know. It'd be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next one.